All right, we're looking at the tropics here today as we start to ramp up on convective activity, changes of development, and we start to get to peak hurricane season, which is in September, right? And obviously, we're only in June, but we are looking at a lot of places for possibilities of development here in this early June season. We've already have Arlene obviously went through here, kind of dipped down through here, and kind of died out uh, near Cuba here. But what we're going to be tracking here for the next couple of days, even weeks, is going to be this lower Caribbean region right around here where we're seeing models, especially the GFS, showing development runs after runs after runs after runs and not dropping it for at least, I think it's been definitely about a week now, where it's been showing that development run after run after run. And as we look at here, we're also looking at these very strong, robust tropical waves, which we usually don't see much of in the June. And we've been seeing these tropical waves coming through here into the South America region. And some of them, if they're strong enough, that moisture comes back out in this Caribbean region, which is what we're going to be looking at here in the next couple of days. And as we look at this closer loop here of the Western Caribbean, you see what we're going to be talking about, why this is going to be an area for potential development here. You've got these trade winds moving north this way here. You've got these going this way, but as you look closer, you see a little bit of rotation, and that's been what we've been the case for these last couple of days, where we've been seeing a little bit of pop-ups of rotation here. And really, these trade winds going up to the north is really going to help that here. And then we just need some clock rotation here, and this is what you're going to be seeing here. And we're still getting, you can see really a pretty large envelope of moisture here in the general area. And that's been also here for at least a couple days here, spreading all the way up north here with these bursts of convection, which is what we've been seeing. And Arlene was able to feed off of that a little bit as that convective activity did spread a little bit like this earlier this week, which did give us that tropical cyclone as that low pressure system came from Texas here. But looking at what's really important here is the GFS model, and here's our setup right now. We've got these tropical waves coming through the main development region, is what we've been talking about it here. They're going to be coming through here over the next couple of days. But what's really interesting here is going to be this right here. And so what we get here is one of these more strong tropical waves is able to come out here into this Caribbean region, and this is what we get here. We get some the larger area of moisture here from that tropical wave. That bubble of moisture is able to come here into this area with stronger STT temperatures and low wind shear, and is able to really develop into a system, which is what we've been seeing with this model. Also, note this another potentially storm developments in the main development region. But what we see here is this storm moving and tracking to the northwest here in the Caribbean region and is able to develop into a stronger system. And that is the case with these last couple models. You get one of these tropical waves tracking through, interacting with this area of moisture here in the lower Mediterranean basin, with already obviously some vorticities associated in this general area where we're already seeing some rotation, and then you match this up with high sea surface temperatures and lower wind shear than usual for this time of the period, and you're able to see what would be a good fit for one of these June storms, if not hurricane, as this model show has been showing here, moving through here into the Gulf of Mexico, which doesn't have the most favorable conditions right now, but definitely enough to support tropical cyclones. It has warm sea surface temperatures and high to mid wind shear, which is able to support some of these systems here. And what's really interesting is that as we look at the previous runs here, even if we take it back a little bit here, right here, as we look at the previous runs, this is the previous run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 7, 8. As far as I can go, the GFS is developing this, right? As far as I can go, even look at that. We still see development here. As far as I can go here, we're still seeing some sort of development here for this system, which is rather interesting. That at least the specific model has been developing this over and over again, and a lot of people are starting to catch on that. If you look on Twitter or even Instagram, you have people noting that. Also notice in June, the tracks for June are always the most common tracks are development in the Caribbean region, moving north into the Gulf, either towards Florida or through the Yucatan Peninsula south into Texas or Mexico. Those are the expected developments for June, and that's what we're seeing here. An exact setup of that is what that model is trying to show. Now, the other models don't go as far out to be able to show any signs of development, but they do show the setup where we're getting this moisture bubble developing, uh, interacting with these tropical waves moving through here. So it does show that similar setup here. So as we get into the next couple of days and some new frames pop up, the chances of those developments popping up on there are more likely. And as we look at the sea surface temperatures, they're high, man. They're high, guys. They're warmer than usual in most of the Atlantic Basin. The whole Mediterranean region is has warmer sea surface temperatures than usual. The whole Caribbean has warmer sea surface temperatures than usual. The only place where they're lower than usual is going to be your East Coast and that eastern part of the Gulf of Mexico. This is, partly due to Arlene being there that cooled down those temperatures, but it's also been a little bit cooler over the last, couple months, and that I guess it is likely to remain a little bit cooler. But overall, very warm sea surface temperatures, especially since that NO region here is just so warm. Look at that. We're all really in a strong, well, not strong, but we are in an El Nino at this point, right? And so it is pretty impressive to still see that Atlantic Ocean being in warmer sea surface temperatures than usual in most of the basin. And as you look as where we're talking about development here, notice those sea surface temperatures. We're looking at 30 degrees Celsius here, 30 to 29 degrees Celsius in that area we're talking about. And even as it tracks northward, you're still looking at 29 to 30 degrees, 29 to 28, maybe 27 in some regions as it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. That's plenty to support the stronger tropical cyclone, okay? Even if it tracks into this lower in the 26, maybe some weakening happens, but you're still looking at the possibility for a storm here. So it is very impressive. Okay, and then lastly, we're just going to be taking a quick look at that wind shear map. And once again, the low wind shear for the whole Mediterranean region and that lower Caribbean, which lets us wonder will we see a tropical cyclone development here. Only time will tell. Right now, certainty is close to 0% until we actually see those clouds and convection start to develop and form in that area. And I'll keep that a track and updated. But as always, come back and check because you don't want to miss a potential storm coming your way and not be able to prepare for that. Okay.